A young African woman, Amara, dressed in elegant crimson and gold traditional attire, stands in the middle of a bustling village marketplace in eastern Uganda, sunlight shimmering off woven baskets and clay pots around her. Her expression burns with anger as she slaps a humble cleaner, Kato, who wears a faded brown tunic and carries a wooden broom. Dust floats through the golden light. Villagers freeze mid-motion, shocked. The air feels heavy with judgment and disbelief. Cinematic composition, shallow depth of field, emotional realism, captured mid-motion with dust and light rays scattering through the air. In the heart of Nkokonjeru village, where the sun kissed the red earth and the wind carried secrets through the palm trees, a single moment of pride would change an entire destiny. They said Amara's beauty could stop time itself, skin like sunset clay, eyes like dark honey, and a presence that commanded attention wherever she went. But that day, her beauty turned to fire. She stood tall in the crowded marketplace, surrounded by whispers and traders, her voice sharp as thunder. The villagers had gathered, murmuring as her hand rose and met the cheek of the cleaner, Kato, a quiet, humble man who had done nothing more than accidentally spill water near her feet. The slap echoed through the air, slicing through laughter, through music, and through the ordinary rhythm of village life. No one dared to speak, only the wind dared to move. And as Kato slowly looked up, his gaze, calm, knowing, almost sorrowful, seemed to pierce through Amara's pride, leaving a strange chill in her chest. Little did she know, the man she humiliated that morning would soon return as something far greater than anyone could imagine. A wide shot of the village marketplace under a high golden sun. Villagers, men and women in traditional wraps, stand frozen, some holding baskets, others staring at Amara and Kato. Amara's hand trembles slightly, her proud face masking hidden guilt. Kato's cheek bears a faint red mark, but his eyes are calm and almost wise. Flies buzz softly over spilled fruit. The air feels thick and still. Warm cinematic lighting with subtle haze, tension heavy in the silence. Life in Nkokonjeru flowed with rhythm, the laughter of children by the stream, the pounding of millet under the old baobab, and the smell of roasted plantains at dusk. But after that slap, whispers followed Amara like shadows. Some said the ancestors would punish her arrogance. Others pitied Kato, who returned every day to sweep the same market without anger or bitterness. She ignored them all. In her mind, she had done nothing wrong. She was the daughter of the great trader, Obinna, a man whose caravans brought spices and gold from distant lands. To her, respect was something earned by power, not kindness. Yet, as days passed, strange things began to happen. The birds that once sang outside her window grew silent. The mirror in her hut cracked one morning, not from heat or touch, but as if something unseen had struck it. And every night in her dreams, she saw Kato's calm eyes, watching her from afar, filled not with hate, but with sorrow. Inside Amara's modest yet well-kept hut, lit by flickering firelight. Amara sits on a woven mat, staring at a cracked mirror made of polished bronze. Her crimson attire is replaced by a simple evening wrapper, and the warm light dances across her troubled face. Shadows crawl up the mud walls, a faint wind stirs the curtain. Her eyes reflect fear and confusion. Cinematic tone, warm firelight, shallow focus, eerie atmosphere, and a sense of an unseen presence watching her. Weeks turned to months, and the marketplace changed. The air felt heavier, crops began to dry too early. The river, once vibrant and full of fish, now ran low. Some said the spirits were restless. Some whispered that it was because of Amara's pride. Her father, Obinna, dismissed such talk. "Nonsense," he would say. "The spirits do not concern themselves with the mistakes of youth." But even he noticed that when Kato passed by, animals grew quiet. Even the dogs lowered their heads. Cato, the humble cleaner, works silently near the empty marketplace as the sun dips low, casting a pale orange glow. He wears the same brown tunic, barefoot, moving slowly with his wooden broom. The village in the background appears quiet, almost haunted. Birds perch silently on rooftops. His calm face is illuminated by the fading light, unreadable, timeless. Cinematic realism, sunset tones, long shadows, subtle mist rolling in. That evening, as Amara walked home, she saw something strange. A small bird struggling by the roadside, wings twisted, unable to fly. Its feathers were soaked as though it had fallen from the rain, though the sky was clear. She bent down to help it, and just as her fingers touched its trembling body, the bird spoke. Yes, it spoke. Its voice was faint, like the whisper of leaves. "You carry a curse born from pride. The one you scorned holds your fate in his silence." Amara stumbled back, terrified. The bird fluttered once and vanished, no trace left but a single golden feather that glowed faintly before turning to dust. She ran home, her heart pounding like drums. For the first time, she couldn't sleep. Close-up cinematic shot of Amara kneeling beside a dying bird on the dusty roadside at twilight. The bird's feathers shimmer faintly gold, and its beak is open mid-whisper. Amara's face glows in soft moonlight, eyes wide with disbelief. The background fades into misty forest silhouettes. The feather emits a faint glow as it begins to disintegrate into golden dust. Ethereal, mystical atmosphere, focus on emotion, moonlight, and symbolism. The next morning, she went to the river to wash, hoping the cool water would calm her heart. But the river, once so clear she could see her reflection, now ran black as night. Frogs croaked in the silence, and the air smelled of iron. She dropped to her knees, trembling, and whispered, "What is happening to me?" A shadow moved behind her. When she turned, no one was there, but a voice, soft and distant, said, "Repent before it is too late." Amara kneels at the riverbank under grey skies. The once clear water is now inky black, reflecting her face in a distorted way. Her traditional wrapper clings to her knees, her hands cupping the cursed water. Mist drifts over the surface. In the background, dense trees bend slightly, as though alive. A ghostly whisper stirs the air, unseen. Cinematic realism, moody overcast lighting, subtle fog, eerie stillness. Days passed, and the strange events grew stronger. Chickens refused to lay eggs, crops rotted in their stalks. And one morning, when Amara entered the marketplace, she found it completely empty. Not a sound, not a soul. But on the ground lay a broom, standing upright by itself. It was Cato's broom, and before her eyes, the broom began to sweep the dust, moving on its own, slow, rhythmic, and deliberate. Her breath caught. The air shimmered, and she felt something old awaken. Something older than her pride, older than her village, something that had been watching all along. Wide cinematic shot of the empty Nkokonjeru marketplace under ghostly morning mist. A wooden broom sweeps dust on its own, small eddies swirling in its wake. Amara stands several meters away, trembling in fear, clutching her chest. The huts and stalls are empty, colors muted, and the air glows faintly with a supernatural haze. Light filters through low clouds, evoking dread and awe. That night, thunder rolled across the plains. Lightning flashed, and rain fell heavily. Amara hid inside her hut, clutching a charm her grandmother had given her long ago. But every flash of lightning showed her something new. Faces in the shadows, eyes in the window, and finally, Cato. Standing in the rain, not moving, not speaking, just watching. The storm grew louder, but she couldn't look away. He lifted one hand, not in anger, but in silence, as though calling her to remember. Her body shook. She knew this was no ordinary man. Something divine, or cursed, had been walking in his flesh all along. A dramatic night scene under torrential rain. Cato stands outside Amara's hut, drenched, motionless, illuminated by flashes of lightning. His expression is calm but haunting. Raindrops streak across his face like tears. Inside the hut, Amara peers from the doorway, holding a small charm, her eyes filled with fear and realization. Cinematic composition, harsh contrast of lightning and darkness, wet textures, and intense emotional focus. A blinding flash of lightning freezes Kato in full view. His drenched brown tunic clings to his lean frame, and behind him rises a faint aura of golden light. The rain becomes silvery needles. His calm eyes glow softly, reflecting both mercy and sorrow. Amara, framed in her doorway, stands trembling, her crimson wrapper damp, her hair plastered to her cheeks. The wind bends trees around them, cinematic lighting, high-contrast lightning flare, misty rain atmosphere, emotional realism. The storm howled like an ancient spirit awakened from centuries of slumber. Amara's breath came in ragged gasps as she stared at Kato's glowing outline through the veil of rain. He stepped forward once, and the thunder quieted, as if the heavens themselves waited for his next word. "You mocked a servant," a voice said, not from his lips but from everywhere, the wind, the water, and the trembling ground. "But you mocked not a man, you mocked humility itself." Amara fell to her knees, tears mixing with rain. The charm in her hand shattered like glass, sending sparks of light into the storm. Amara kneels on the muddy ground, arms lifted toward the sky as powerful wind spirals around her. Torn leaves and sparks of gold swirl in the air. Her crimson wrapper whips violently in the storm. Kato stands before her, partly obscured by light and rain, his calm face illuminated by the glow that now radiates from his chest. Cinematic angle, low shot emphasizing the power of nature and surrender. The earth beneath them shook, splitting slightly as blue-white light poured from the crack. Kato's form began to change, his skin glimmering like burnished bronze, his clothes dissolving into mist. In his place stood a tall, radiant figure, neither man nor spirit alone, but something in between, a guardian long forgotten by the people of Nkokonjeru. The villagers, drawn by thunder and awe, gathered in the rain. They gasped as Kato's voice echoed through their souls. "Pride blinds the eyes of those who wear gold, yet see not the dust they stand on. Humility is the cloak of kings unseen." The words struck like thunderclaps. Amara lowered her head to the mud, sobbing. Dozens of villagers, wrapped in soaked traditional fabrics, cluster in a semicircle under heavy rain. Their faces show fear and wonder as Kato transforms into a radiant guardian spirit, light streaming upward. Amara kneels in the foreground, face hidden in her hands. Lightning forks behind a massive baobab tree, illuminating mist and rain. Cinematic realism, rain density, lens flares, and awe on villagers' faces. When the light dimmed, Kato was gone. Only a single broom remained where he stood, its wooden handle glowing faintly. The rain ceased as suddenly as it had begun, leaving only the rhythmic dripping from the rooftops. Amara reached for the broom, but as her fingers touched it, memories not her own flooded her mind. Visions of Kato helping the poor, tending graves, feeding stray dogs, and always smiling though mocked. She saw herself through his eyes, proud, distant, and unaware. A cry tore from her throat, not of pain, but of understanding, close up on the broom lying in mud, emitting faint golden light. Amara's trembling hands hover inches above it, tears mixing with rainwater. Her reflection in the puddle shows anguish and awakening. In the background, villagers stand silently, their faces softened by empathy. Lighting, soft post-storm glow, muted palette with a single warm beam on broom. For 3 days, Amara secluded herself in her hut, eating nothing, speaking to no one. The villagers left food at her door, but she only prayed. On the dawn of the 4th day, she emerged wearing plain brown cloth, her fine jewelry gone. She walked to the market where she once humiliated Kato. There, in front of the same crowd, she picked up a broom. And she swept. Hour after hour she cleaned every corner, humming softly through tears. Golden morning light bathes the marketplace. Amara, now dressed in a simple brown wrap and barefoot, sweeps the ground slowly. Dust rises gently in sunbeams. Villagers watch in silence. Some weep, some nod. Her face is serene, humble, and peaceful. Cinematic framing, soft sunrise glow, long depth of field, gentle emotion, birds returning overhead. From that day, peace began to return. The river cleared, crops grew green again, and laughter returned to Nkokonjeru. But the broom she used never wore out. Its bristles stayed new as if blessed. They said the spirit of Cato watched through it, guarding the market, forgiving all who worked with honest hands. Years passed, and when travellers came, they found the cleanest marketplace in all the lands, and an old woman sweeping with reverence, smiling as though she still saw someone beside her. A panoramic sunrise over Nkokonjeru village. The river glimmers blue again. Children play near the water. Farmers work in green fields. Amara, now older, sweeps calmly in the market square, surrounded by blooming flowers. Warm golden light fills the scene. Cinematic tone, peaceful, hopeful, spiritual closure. Sometimes at dusk a soft wind would rise, sweeping dust from the streets even when no one touched a broom. People said it was Cato passing by, reminding them that humility never dies. And every child in the village grew up knowing the tale of the proud woman and the cleaner who was more than he seemed. Evening scene under a deep amber sky. The ethereal silhouette of Cato's spirit, tall, radiant, peaceful, drifts above the village, faintly translucent, holding the glowing broom. Amara, now elderly, pauses her sweeping and looks up with a gentle smile. Firelight flickers from nearby huts. Cinematic feel, spiritual warmth, soft lens flare, emotional resolution. The elders still say, when pride walks before love, even beauty becomes blind. But when humility kneels, the heart becomes a throne. And so the people of Nkokonjeru remember, every sweep of the broom a prayer, every act of kindness a bridge between the seen and unseen. Do we truly see the worth of those who serve us? Or must we lose everything to understand it?